Hola! In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create these 3 text graphics in Canva. We're going to start off with Canva's recently new app. It's called TypeGradient. So it's going to allow you to do gradient fonts quickly and easily. It is so much fun. So we're going to start off with that one and wait until the end because I have some surprise for you, a little surprise for you. Okay, let's jump into Canva and let's get started. Okay, so I want to start off with the gradient text because that is very popular and it has been a challenge to do in Canva, or was a challenge to do in Canva, but no longer. So you head on over on Canva and you click on your apps because it is an app, and you type right here, type gradient. All right, so it's type gradient and it's right there. Here you go. Okay, so unlike other designs, you create actually the gradient text all within this app section here. And then once you're done, you add it to the design right over here. Okay, so let's begin. So here, let's just go ahead and type in gradient. Here, you will not have access to many of the other features like you do with other fonts. So you won't be able to bold or italicize or capitalize. You have to actually do everything yourself here. So if you want this to be capital, then you just go ahead and type it in capital, okay, because you won't be able to change it later. And as you see here, it'll add the text right here. Now, if you want to add multiple lines, you can do so. You just click enter and then add lines here, more lines, however you want to do that, okay? And you'll see the preview window, what you're doing right here, okay? We're just going to do the one, just for demonstration purposes. We're just going to do the gradient. Now, let's move on to your fonts. Now, what I like about the type gradient is that it gives you a lot more font selection than other apps like Typecraft. Unfortunately, you still can't upload your own font. So you are able to just look for fonts that are similar to the brand fonts that you are currently using. All right, so we're going to stay with Anton, a nice, classy, chunky font, which looks great with gradient. And then the next section is, again, you can align it. So you can align it left, right, center. So if you have more than one line, you'll see the effects of this alignment. Then here, the line height, same like you would with other text. So if you have more than one line, you are able to adjust the line. So let's go ahead and just click line here. And as you can see, I have a left align, right align, and then I want more spacing between the lines. So this is the way you would do it. Okay. All right, let's go back to that one. And then last but not least, and the most fun, is the gradient bar. All right, so let's click on the gradient. Let's go ahead and click on this circle right here. And you are able to add whatever color you want. You don't have access to your brand colors here, so you will have to type in your brand color. So for demonstration purposes, I just want to show you all of the things that you could do here. Just like any other color selector, you can come in here and change the shading of the color. All right, so let's go with the red. Let's do this one. Let's use some yellow here, bright yellow. And this one, let's do a little bit more purple. All right, perfect. So there are my 3 colors for my 3 gradients. And here's the preview of how it looks. Isn't this awesome? So simple, so easy. Now what you'll do here, if you want to change the direction of the gradient, you grab the circles right here and you move this around. Isn't this awesome? You move it around to adjust the gradients in the position where you want it. There we go. So you could do it any direction. This is like the best app currently. All right, so you can change the gradients here. If you want a little bit less of the yellow, not a problem. You go ahead and move this in closer. So you have just a little bit of the yellow. All right, so you can make those however you want. If you want to add a 4th color, just click right inside of the gradient bar and add that 4th color. Isn't that awesome? All right, and so once you get the gradient exactly how you want it, then you add it to the design. You just click right here and there it is. Now it is added to the design like it would any image, and then you can grab the corners and make it as big or as small as you'd like. Now, if you want to make changes to the design, again, you can't make the changes here. What you'll do is either you can come back right over here, or you can click on edit, either way. And then you can make those adjustments here. All right, so let's take out the blue. You can go ahead and delete it from right there. Let's make that yellow right in the center. and then update the element right here. And there you go. Isn't this fun? All right, and if you want to add a shadow to this like you can with other text, so what you can do here is copy and paste the design and then come back in here and make that black or whatever you want that shadow color to be. So let's just leave that just like that. Let me go ahead and update it and then just move this to the back. All right, and then you can add that shadow effect if you'd like. Add them together and then you can change them around just like that. Super easy. I love it. I love this app. Let's move on to the second one, which is called a text dispersion effect. So let's go ahead and start with, I was thinking Valentine's, since Valentine is coming. So let's do a Valentine's design. Just click on the T to put some text on the design. And then let's go ahead with a V. Now for this one, again, we want a chunky text. I'm not going to go with Anton this time because I think that Anton is really narrow. Yeah, so that's not going to work. So let's try Horizon. Perfect. All right. My second alternative to Anton when it comes to chunky font. All right, so let's go ahead and make that a red. I want a deep red. Then for here, I'm just going to go ahead and lock this in place so it doesn't move around because I'm going to add a lot of elements here. I had already looked for a few things that I think I might want to use. So let's go to graphics. I'm going to do Cupid. And so I like this Cupid here. So this is perfect. I'm going to try to use as many free elements as I can for those of you who don't have the Canva Pro. I want to make Cupid the same color as the V. So I'm going to go ahead and use this dropper so that I can get that same color. Okay, and then we're going to click on this other pink. So we want him to be, him or her, it looks like a him, all in red, the same color. All right, so that's that. Now the Cupid is going to be shooting hearts into the V. So let's go ahead and find hearts here. When it comes to hearts, the best thing to do for this type of design would be to do groups, but you can do individual. That's okay too. I think probably individual will be better because you can manipulate it just a little bit better. But for speed of the video, I'm going to go ahead and use a group. So let's go ahead and use this one here. So this is a nice group and it's free. Now, as you can tell from this one, however, we need it to be red, the same color as the V and Cupid. And as you can tell from here, it doesn't allow me to change the color like it did for Cupid. See? So one trick that you can do, I'll show you a Canva hack. If you click on Edit Photo, you come down to the effects and look for the dual effect, the dual tone, excuse me. So here it is. So here's the dual tone, and then you can look for a color that's closest to what you want. But in this case, you can always change them here because you have the option. So I'm going to go ahead and change them to the color that I want, which is the color red. So we're going to go ahead and do that one. And then we're going to do the same thing for the shadow because we don't want any shadow. Okay. And then the intensity is going to stay at the 100%. Okay. So that is a tip there for you. And then we're going to make these small because the Cupid is small. So we're going to make these hearts really small here. And then what you'll do here is on your keyboard, if you press and hold the Alt key and then you click on the design, you can click on it and then drag it and it'll duplicate whatever design you're using. Okay, so that's a quick shortcut key there for you. All right, and then you can start bringing in the hearts toward the V to fill them in. So before we continue, I want to hide a little bit of the V so that the heart is actually filling in the V. So what we're going to do is, again, click on the design, click on R for rectangle, C for circle, or it doesn't really matter because what you'll do is once you grab the design here, you click right up here where it says shape, and you can turn that into any shape that you need. Okay, so I'm going to leave it as the rectangle, but I am going to expand it because I want to take up the space here. I'm going to change it to the white, so the same color as the background. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and move it over and cover a portion of that V. Okay, so there we go there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and push it to the back, but we still want it on top of the V. So you're going to click back and then forward one level. So there you go. Or you can always do it from here as well. So I have the V. Let's go ahead I forgot I had locked this. So let's go ahead and unlock that. Let's bring it all the way to the bottom. We'll bring it all the way to the back. And then we're going to go ahead and bring this triangle right on top of that. So it'll be behind the hearts, but above the V. These are all of the layers of your design. There we go. All right, so now let's go ahead and fill this in. There you go. I just wanted to kind of give you an example of how that would work. What you can do is if you come back to that rectangle that we created, if you lower the transparency, you can do that. So it looks like the V, the outline of the V is there, and then you're kind of just filling it in. So that is another option. So for this particular one, you would have to move the V because you don't want it to be too much, right? So you want to just move the V there. So that is another option as well for you. And then you would just add a little bit more, or you could just bring the design all closer to the Cupid. You can do that. Okay, and then we just have to rearrange these here. So this is going to take, if you've never done this before, it's going to take just a little bit, but it's a fun design that you can incorporate. Sometimes we get bored with the same designs over and over again. So this kind of gives you a little bit of something different to try for your brand. Also, if your brand uses a chunky font already, feel free to use your branded font. I mean, that'll be awesome if you do that. Okay. So there you go. So you have some options there. You can either fill this in just a little bit so you see a little bit of the outline of the V, or you can just make it just like that. Completely up to you. Okay. So I kind of do like it a little bit of a shadow, a little bit of the outline. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then once you're done, what you can do is grab across the design so that you're grabbing everything. Go ahead and group it. And then you can, I left some parts there. And then resize it so that if you want to add the word Valentine, so that you have the space to do so. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and make those small. And I don't know where I had them. So if you see this, you see when I'm hovering over it, it's disappearing. That heart is disappearing. Just bring it to the position and bring it to the front. Okay, so you can do that. All right, there we go. Okay, and then now we'll do text and finish the word Valentine, and then we'll be done. Right, and you can leave it really thin like this, or you can make it the same font as this one. A way that you can align this is if you grab the ruler. So this section here, I already have it showing. So what you can do is click on File, View Settings, and then Show Ruler and Guides. So once you have that, if you can either do it this direction, you can align this horizontal or vertical, whichever design you need. And what you can do is I can zoom in just here and then bring this line right underneath the V. That way I can align this text to the bottom so that both align at the bottom, and then just bring it in however you want to do that. Okay, so that's a good a guide. It adds as a guide for you. You just click right over here, bring it off the screen, and there you go. What do you guys think? I would love to see the designs that you create based on what I'm showing you. So if you go off and try to recreate this, I would love to see it. If you're using it on social media, tag me on Instagram. Here's my Instagram handle because I would love to see it. I want to see how you use it in your design. All right, so now let's move on to the final one. But before we do that, I do have another video that's showing you how to do this design here and also this text design here. So if you want to learn how to do one of these two, check out the video above after you finish watching this one. I'll put it at the end and also in the description down below. Okay, my friends, so the last design I'm going to show you how to do is this one here. Now, full disclosure, I had to re-record it because the way I originally designed it, I think it was too complicated, and I don't ever want you guys to get confused and deter you from creating. So I'm re-recording it. So I want to show you exactly what we're going to end up with. And I'm going to show you in a much simpler way how to recreate this, okay? So let's go ahead and add another page here. Let me go ahead and find, beautiful, here it is. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill in the area that I want to design. Okay, so that's perfect right there, right where it is. So that it will be your step one, right? Adding the image that you want. Now, the best way for this to come out like this is to have an image that has multiple things in the image so that the words can weave in and out of the elements, okay? I'm going to lock it in place because we're going to create some letters and I don't want that to move. So again, the T for text, and then we're going to use the letter L there, and we're going to stay with Anton, and then you can manipulate the size however you like that size to be. Forgot what size did I make this? I made it 338. All right, so let's go ahead and make that 338 and keep it the same. So I want it between the two glasses of wine, as you can see from here, okay? So I want the L between the two glasses of wine, so I'm going to put it right there. And then what I did there is that I actually reduced the transparency to that letter. Then I added an effect, which is the shadow effect, and I made the shadow black. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring up the transparency of the black there, and then offset this. Let me bring it in a little bit closer. All right, so 38, that looks good. So I actually didn't use white. I actually used this color that's right here. So I'm going to go ahead and make that color. There we go. Okay, and then the transparency, again, however you want the transparency to be. I think I like it right there. All right. Now that I have the letter exactly how I want it, now I'm just going to copy and paste the rest of the letters. So I'm just going to copy. And one more. All right. And then let's make that the L, the B, and the E. Okay. Now what you can do so that make sure that they're all aligned is just go ahead and grab all four of them, go over to position and click bottom. Okay. And it will align them all to the bottom here. And then you can also, if you click on tidy up, you'll see how the spacing on this are not the same. If you click on tidy, it'll even the space up there for you. Okay. All right, and then you can just go ahead and grab them and put them exactly where you want them to be. I'm going to leave them there, but I actually want them a little bit closer. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring them in to about around where I want it, and then just grab it again, position, and then tidy it up. There we go. Okay, so that is step number 2. So first step is the image that you want. The second step is the letters. All right, and now I'm going to unlock it because I want to make a copy of this image. So I'm going to click the image. I'm going to copy and paste the image. All right, so now the image is on top. So now let's start off with the wine glass. See how I have the wine glass between the two letters? So how you would do that is now you grab the end of the image and you bring it in to the letter. All right, so I'm going to bring it in right here. Remember, we have some shadow there. So I'm just going to bring that in right there. And if you want to zoom in so you can see this a little bit better, let me go ahead and do that. Okay. Now let me bring in the inside of this to exactly where I want the glass is going to be right there. Right. And I'm going to bring this up to right about there. And now what is it that this is not looking right, Betsy, right? Now, the thing with this is that you have to remove this background. So what you'll do here is you can go ahead and remove the background right there. And that's how you get the effect. If you don't have the Canva Pro, then what you will do is grab this image, download it, remove the background, and I'm going to show you what it could look like. Okay, so you grab this image here, remove the background, and this is what it would look like. All right, I know this is not perfect, but it does not need to be in this occasion because it's going to be layered on top of the actual image. So you're not going to be able to see all of these imperfections, okay? But this is actually good enough, I promise, okay? So if you don't have the Canva Pro, then go ahead and download the image, remove the background with a third-party application, and then upload it back into Canva, and then you can continue with this design, okay? So let's go ahead and remove that because you'll see that that's not going to work. So now we can grab this image here and bring it over and do the same exact thing. Layer it right over the image and you'll see the glass is now on top. Let's go ahead and zoom in just a bit so you can see this. And now you're going to bring in the image. You see, if you come all the way, how it starts to disappear. But you're going to bring the image right over here, right where the shadow is. The bottom part, you're going to bring it right up here, right? So that the glass is just peeking through the O. Okay? Then what you'll do is for the rest of this image, you're going to bring the rest of it right back in here. And it doesn't really matter because as the background is already removed, you have to just ensure that the roses are gone. Okay? Now what we're going to do is do the same thing for a third time. So let's just copy and paste it again down here. Let's go ahead and remove it again and bring the image once again to the top, right over everything. And now this time what you're going to do, we want the roses. So we're just going to bring all this in here. So all we have is the roses. Okay. And then, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring that V to the front, all the way to the front. Okay. And there you have it. And that's how you create those layers just like that. Now remember the layering tool here within Canva, just click on the design, you go to position and layers, okay? This is where I'll have all of the different layers so you can play around with it. You can move the V around to see how you like it. Do you want the V in front of the roses, the E in front of the roses, and the E behind the roses? Is that what you like? How about the O? Do you want the O in front of the roses, but you also want the wine in front of the O, right? There we go. Let me know in the comments if you were able to follow along. Also, what I was thinking is as I was finishing this up, that maybe you might like this design and might want to have access to this template. So let me know in the comments below if you would like the template, and I'll go ahead and send you a link. That's it for today's video. Check out this video next to learn how to create some additional text graphics. Until next time, my friend, adios.